Goddamn O'Driscolls.
I don't think there's any of them here, are there?
Doesn't seem like it, yeah. So, first impressions of Lithuania. I know yours. You have been here like some time ago. Roger, it's your like first weekend here in Lithuania. Any first impressions? Any traditional things? We usually ask the foreigners: the pink soup, the beer, and so on and so on.
I love this. This is actually my second time here. I was here, I think it was 2006, 2007. We were doing theater right here in Vilnius. And it was amazing then, and it's amazing now. And the weather is perfect today. It's awesome. It's great to be here. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Red Dead second one especially came out like about 7 years ago, and it's still just a huge title. Everybody's talking about it. When you first applied for the roles for Red Dead Redemption, did you ever imagine it would be such a big title and it would be such a big part of your life from the day it released?
No, I had no idea. I really had no idea. In fact, they kept telling me, we can tell that you have no idea what, what you're involved in. Of course, Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption kind of, they didn't know fully what to expect because they kind of bet the company on it, assumed that it would go well. Of course, if it's Rockstar Games, chances are it's going to go well. But they kind of would laugh and at me because I was this playable character of a Rockstar video game and I had no idea what I was involved in. It was very clear. But I'm so happy that it turned out the way that it did, of course.
What were your first auditions when you were auditioning for your character on Red Dead Redemption 1? How did it go in the beginning?
So I got a phone call from my agent, and they asked me if I would be able to make a last-minute audition. Normally, you get calls one day for an audition for the next day. They give you all the location. This is what you need to wear. This is all the stuff you need to know. And they tell you what it is you're auditioning for. And so this time I get a call and they said, can you make it to a last minute audition? And I said, yeah. And it was very inconvenient. I almost didn't go because I said, well, yeah, what's it for? And they said, well, we don't know. It's called Untitled Video Game Project. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. So is it, and this was the agent that called me was the one that would call me and submit me for commercial auditions. So Budweiser and, Taco Bell and different things like that. So we both assumed that it was probably some kind of a promo video for a video game that had already been made. And so I thought, all right, yeah, cool, whatever. I show up to the place. There are people running around everywhere. Crazy. It was madness. Bunch of guys dressed up in camo, like full army fatigues. And there I am standing there just wearing like this, And I thought, oh, I wish I knew that, So I get this really long page of dialogue that they said, all right, memorize that, and then we're going to bring you in quick. So do your best. I mean, it was a full page of dialogue, and I thought, oh, my God, whatever. So I keep reading it. Finally, I get called into the room.
Do you remember what the dialogues were about?
Yeah, well, partially. It was talking about nothing to do with the game, honestly, but it was talking about, I love your apple pie, ma'am, but people know I'm in town and I got to get out of here. Whatever. But the crazy thing about it was, again, full page, but they also, when I got in the room, had a table and a basket of clothes. And they said, all right, so while you're doing your lines, do them to the camera, but also fold those clothes while you're saying them. And I thought, what is this? Like this was like a huge test. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, right? Anyway, that was my audition. And so 2 weeks later, I got a call from my agent and they said, that thing that you booked it. I was like, great, all right, what was it? And they said, we still don't know. So once you get to the first day and you sign that non-disclosure agreement, then you find out what it is that you auditioned for.
When did you find out that you were going to be a cowboy?
That same day.
That same day when you signed the NDA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Roger, what's your part of the story about this?
They're all called Untitled Video Game Project.
Yeah.
And it's got to be that way for a reason. We all hate leaks. We all hate spoilers, right? But yeah, very similar interaction, except I knew Red Dead Redemption. I had just finished playing it about a month before my first audition. I didn't know what I was auditioning for either, same as Rob, but you know, I walked in and they gave you the sides on the day. Usually you get the sides in advance, but these guys don't do it that way. I think they like to see how quickly you can learn your lines, you know, and I was in a bar. I was chatting away to the bartender, and the bartender was very excited because his daughter was coming to town to come visit. And then, you know, and then we shoot the breeze for a while, and then at the end I said, okay, well, somebody put a hit on you, and I'm here to collect, so sorry, I don't think you're gonna be seeing your daughter, you know? And that was the side that I did. And then it wasn't until like the second or third audition when I actually went to Rockstar offices in New York, and I went, okay, all right, this is very similar to Red Dead Redemption. And I was like, okay, but I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to jeopardize because it's so secretive. You didn't want to spoil anything, so I just played dumb until they finally told me. And I went, oh my gosh, yeah.
All the secrecy, I can just imagine it should be such hell, you know, covering all those secrets from your family, from your friends, because when developing and working on a video game, it takes a long ass time. And how do you even manage? What, do you just lie to your family and friends all the time?
I told my family I'm working on a video game, I can't talk about it.
But did they know that you were working on Red Dead Redemption 2?
No, God no. If I told them that, I would have been fired.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's not only fired, they could have sued us. You know, that's a violation of the NDA. And for good reason, too, because, you know, there's nothing worse, like we see spoilers and we see things in leaks and whatnot. There's nothing worse than seeing something that's unfinished, you know? And it's such a competitive industry. And I don't know about you guys, but like, let's take, for example, GTA 6, when it comes out almost a year from now, right? I want to be able to go into that game completely fresh. I don't want to know what's going on. And we all deserve to be able to discover it individually, you know, and we don't want to have it spoiled. We don't want to see footage before it's finished, before it's ready to be played. So understandably, it's very secretive. But yeah, 5 years working on Red Dead Redemption 2 and not being able to talk about it with anyone except each other, you know, and we all managed to get on the same page, literally, you know, pretty quickly. You know, because obviously we had no one else, so we talked a lot about it with each other, you know.
All right, so yeah, give a round of applause, guys, really. Speaking about the game itself, you had to do a lot of voice acting, obviously. Was it difficult to shift to the characters that you were given? I mean, you do sound exactly like the characters, obviously, but you still had to adopt to the whole scenario. Was it difficult to do that?
You know, some people come up to me and they go, hey, you know, Rob uses his real voice.
But you do as well.
Oh, yeah, I don't really sound that cowboy-y, but I can put it on when I need to. And after a couple of months of doing it, it became like a switch.
Amazing. You do sound like a cowboy, Roger.
I get some people do tell me that, yeah.
I just can imagine after the big, like, long session of doing voice work, just, you know, being this cowboy role, do you ever just go to the shop and still talk like a cowboy or talk like a normal person?
You want to know a secret?
Yeah.
Most of our work wasn't voice acting.
Oh, it's motion capture?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, most of it was motion capture. That's why, if we had done it all voice acting in a booth, I think we probably would have gotten it done a lot sooner, you know? But no, we put on that spandex and with all the shiny balls. If you've ever seen like behind the scenes stuff for Avatar and stuff like that, that was the majority of the main work, you know? And I was grateful that was, because by the time I was ready to go into the booth, I had already gotten a very good grip of what the character was, you know?
Not to ruin the game for you, but yeah, just now, when you watch these scenes with all these big, tough cowboys, just now imagine us all standing there in spandex doing that same scene.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was.
I just always wondered, when you, like, first get the roles, you know you're gonna be like John Marston or Arthur Morgan, do you guys get the whole script so you read the whole story and then adapt, or you just go, like, day by day just learning new things about how the story progressed?
For Red Dead Redemption, I was given a pretty good section, honestly, a pretty good section at first of the script, but wasn't nearly the entire script. And then as time went on, I would just get it as I needed it. So, and the script that they do give you, they give it to you out of order. It's more based on probably, you know, how many people do we need here for all the scenes that we're going to do, and all the producer work, gathering all that information and making it work how they need to. But also possibly because if I don't know the entire story, I can't be the one to spoil it. Yeah. And I don't know if that plays into it at all. If it does, then that's very smart of them. I mean, I was never going to do that, but you never know. Somebody might. But yeah, no, I didn't know what was going on with John Marston, who he was, what the story was about, until almost the end of Red Dead Redemption. And then I could piece it all together and be like, oh, yeah, I get it why this guy's pissed off all the time. But for the majority of it, I just trusted the director would say, that was it. All right, good. Now we can move on. And I thought, okay, if you say so, let's go.
Do you guys see yourselves, well, obviously you're Arthur Morgan, you're John Marston. Do you guys see yourselves as different people in real life, or do you find similarities with your characters?
Well, you know, we're actors, you know, so it's our job. It's our job to portray different characters depending on the script or depending on what we're lucky enough to book. You know, so obviously there's clear differences, but you can't help but interpret a character and have some of yourself in it, you know? My wife used to tell me, you know, you got to check Arthur at the door when you come home. Because I had never, ever had not many actors do have a contract the length that we did, working with the same character on new material week in and week out. You know, I guess the only other thing you could really compare it to would be maybe a TV show that's 5 or 6 seasons long, you know? So it was a real privilege to be able to spend that much time and energy on one character. And, well, going back to what Rob was saying about Red Dead 1, I know the script for Red Dead 2, and this is not counting side missions. If you were to take the script for Red Dead 2, just the main story alone, and stack all those pages on top of each other, it's about 6 feet tall.
Jesus Christ. So
Yeah.
it's basically like my height or your height. Wow.
That's why it took so long to do.
Amazing.
And again, same with Rob. You know, we didn't shoot chronologically. We would typically get the pages about a week in advance, and then we would work week by week.
Yeah.
Did you guys play Red Dead yourselves? Red Dead Redemption 2 and 1 maybe?
I was playing his game the whole time we were making Red Dead 2.
Yeah, you were a big fan as well.
Oh, I would switch between Red Dead Redemption and GTA 5, and I would just go back and forth the whole time we were working on Red Dead 2, just to get myself into Rockstar's head, you know?
As a gamer yourself, Roger, when you first played either Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2, were you a player who focuses only on main story, or do you explore the world surrounding you?
You know, if I really like it, I know if it's a wonderful game, yeah, I'm going to explore every little nook and cranny that I can.
How many hours on Red Dead Redemption 2 do you have?
I've played it twice. I've gotten maybe up to like 75, 76%. I had to give up at the gambling challenges. There's no way I just... Getting
fishing,
3 blackjacks in a row was
Yeah.
annoying. And I did get into online a little bit during COVID. I think I got up to about level 45 and whatnot. So, no, I haven't 100%ed it. The only cast member who has 100%ed Red Dead 2 is Benjamin Byron Davis, who plays Dutch Vanderland. He did that during COVID.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Guys, imagine playing Red Dead Redemption online and meeting the real Arthur Morgan.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
And I mean, it's just quite crazy for me because, you know, you spend 5 years making this character and now you're actually playing it. Isn't it a bit weird? Because I heard like in one of the interviews, Johnny Depp said he doesn't usually watch his movies because he doesn't really like to see himself in the movies. How is it for you? Because you basically did all the lines, did all the motion capture, and now you're seeing the whole product of being like John Marston or Arthur Morgan.
I am currently doing a playthrough of Red Dead Redemption, which is really wild. I mean, that game released 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And I've obviously seen all of the footage through YouTube. I've never played the entire thing though. So now I'm doing it. Shameless plug on YouTube and Twitch. You can come hang out with me and watch me play. Yeah, right on. Come on in. It's been so much fun so far. I've only done one stream, but as soon as the tech stuff gets better, I'll be happy to promote it more. Everybody bear with me while I figure that out. But it is weird. It's as weird as if you record yourself giving your outgoing voicemail message, right? Where you say, sorry, I missed the phone. Leave me a message. I'll call you back when I can, whatever. And then you listen to that back and you're like, oh, is that really what I sound like? Yeah, it's as weird for us. Also, we have to watch the movement of the person and know that we did that too. And so if you don't like the way your guy moves, you're like, I just don't like anything about this guy. It's so weird. But it's you. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. How strict was Rockstar with all the lines? How much improvisation did you guys were able to do? I know even maybe in motion capture or like in recording lines.
Well, the majority of it was performance capture, so we would do it not that dissimilar to film or theater, for that matter. But one of the writers, there's a lot of writers, but the main three, one of them was Dan Houser, who's the boss, and he's one of the founders of Rockstar. So you don't really change the script that much, but you didn't have to, because it was so well done and there was such a long period of time where we really could feel that the writing was accommodating and suiting us. Like if we would do a cracking scene, a couple of weeks later, we'd get another page or another scene where it would play to the strengths of whatever we, really nailed a couple of weeks beforehand. And that told us, oh gosh, these writers are playing to our strengths, or they realized that quite didn't work as well, so they would go somewhere in another slightly different direction. So we were kind of working together, in a wonderful synergic way. But if we ever did have any issue, like if we thought, hey, it'd be really cool if we did this, they would always listen. And sometimes they'd say yes, and sometimes they'd say no. But it would often be, our director would I would hear him oftentimes go, who wrote this? And they would go, it was Dan, sir. And he went, oh, okay, we better keep it then.
Roger, a rather difficult question. It might be a difficult one. Arthur's tuberculosis diagnosis shifts the entire tone of the game. How did you approach voicing that arc from invincible outlaw to a vulnerable man?
Oh, yeah. It is huge change and a shift in tone when he gets that diagnosis halfway through, isn't it? And like spoilers, obviously, but with Red Dead Redemption, when we say goodbye to John Marston, it's very sudden. You don't see it coming. You're in shock. And with Red Dead 2, it's almost the complete opposite. You see it coming from a mile off, and it's this very slow moving train that's coming straight at you. And I was nervous, to be honest, because I knew how much people loved John Marston and the original game, and I knew that as soon as the first trailers came out showcasing Arthur, a lot of people are going to go, Arthur, who? What? And rightfully so, because, John Marston's the OG. But I'll tell you what was a bit of a challenge. I was trying to find some audio of people suffering from tuberculosis. And there wasn't a lot of it, because by the time they had developed the technology, it really wasn't that big of an issue around the planet. But I did find some. It was in India during the 1940s. There was a bit of a TB outbreak, and I was able to listen to some of that respiratory difficulty and whatnot. And of course, we also had the luxury of having worked on it for so long. Obviously you get the odd cold and whatnot, and when you do, you're like, oh, we should get a couple of clips of me coughing right now, because I've got this loads of phlegm in my throat right now, so let's do it while we're at it.
Fantastic, amazing. Getting back to the game, who's your most hated character? Maybe this for players. Well, probably the common answer would be Dutch, right?
Or Micah.
Or Micah, yeah. So
fuck Micah. I'm sorry, but...
Hands up, who hates Micah? He's a rat. How about Dutch?
I hate Dutch.
Yeah, Micah gets the worst, yeah. I hate Leviticus Cornwall, too. He's, that mogul guy, and he just exploits people and whatnot. He's one of the true villains of the game, I think. But yeah, Micah... It's hard to like him.
You should have left him in prison.
I think some of us did for as long as humanly possible, right?
I'll tell you, the one I hated the most is I had to do the performance capture for that. If you accidentally walk into the wrong guy's house and he drugs you and takes advantage of you. Have you all seen this? You know what I'm talking about? I hated that guy. I hated that guy. And but to be fair, that guy also hated that guy. That was a really weird day for everyone, and thank God that day's over.
But what, did you have to do some motion capture, what?
Yeah, yeah. And they were like, all right, now, just be really creepy. And the guy was like, I'm creeped out. And I'm like, I'm creeped out too.
Yeah.
But we did, whatever.
Your both characters were like, the story is so long and the story, well, it's quite tragic in the end, basically. If you were able to change like one thing about how your characters progressed or maybe how their story ended, would you implement anything like from yourself or you just leave it as it be? Because Roger, I think you mentioned in one of your interviews that the ending of Arthur Morgan's story, it's kind of touched you as an actor also, because it's quite a, it's quite a sad ending for, sorry, but both of you guys.
I was nervous because I found out Arthur's how his ending was going to be fairly early on. I knew he was going to get tuberculosis, but we didn't actually film those scenes until about 4 years later. So yes. For 4 years I knew how he was going to die, but I didn't know exactly how. I didn't get the pages for it. And then when I finally got the pages for it, there's 4 different endings for Arthur. There's a high and a low honor version of helping John, and then there's a high and a low honor version of going back for the money. And the first one I did was the high honor version of helping John. And after having spent so long working on this game and with this character, yeah, I was very, very nervous. I wanted to give the character the send-off that he deserved and whatnot. But, luckily by that point, we had worked together with the crew and for so long that, there was a lot of trust with each other. And so we just, we did it as we did every other day. But yeah, I was a little nervous.
So you got the ending where Arthur died during the sunrise. Was that sunrise?
I think it was sunrise. Yeah.
But that ending, right? Did it touch you emotionally? I mean, most of the players probably cried during that scene, right? Yeah, who cried?
I did. Yeah,
I did as well. I mean, wow, that's probably the most iconic ending in whole video game history. How did you guys feel about it? I mean, Roger, maybe, how did you feel about it?
I was just focused on doing it,
Focused on the mission.
I wasn't really in Roger's mind space when I was working on it, I was just trying to be as truthful to Arthur in that situation as I possibly could. So I didn't really think about it from my personal perspective too much until before and immediately after. And then when I finally played the game too and seeing how the amazing work that all the animators did, and because it's a huge village. You see 2 of us up here now, but that game there was thousands of people who worked on that game and who brought you Arthur and John just as much as we did. And seeing that when I played it for the first time, I was just overwhelmed and with pride really about how well everyone else at Rockstar Games worked together to bring that to us,
Rob, how about your story? Would you change anything?
I've been thinking, of course it's easy when you play the same character for as long as each one of us had the opportunity to do. You do take ownership. You feel very much like, I am this guy. You want to believe that you're that guy anyway, so you can do your best performance possible. And but as far as changing, if things went my way, it would not have the impact, I'm sure, that these games have on people, because I would be selfish and say, yeah, he lives on forever and he's cool. And he's
happy family, happy house, yeah.
Yeah. But that was very forgettable. And I don't think that I would change anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I of course, like I'm saying, yeah, I'd love for John to live on forever. But also, no, Rockstar knows what they're doing. They did it right. I think that's why we all appreciate all this so much.
Fantastic. Guys, imagine you would have 1v1 duel, Arthur versus you.
In real life or in video games?
Let's say in real life. Imagine,
Okay.
like,
How about you two?
No.
You would have been.
No, you two. All right, hands up. Who would win in a fight against these two?
I love it. You guys.
No, but the question was.
No, I don't. No, I'll tell you the question I will answer. All right, Arthur and John would annihilate Michael and Franklin. That's for sure.
Oh! Whoa!
Let's go. Let's go.
That's strong.
Amazing.
That's strong. I wanted to get back to a little bit to the motion capture. I know in the second part of the game, there's like this bit where you're kind of just building the house. Did you really actually have to do all the motion capture for doing all the like handiwork?
Yeah.
Oh,
we actually
shit.
we did way more than what you see in the game. There are testers. They were like, yeah, this is so cool. We love it, but we don't love it that much. So they cut a good chunk of what we actually did out. But it was amazing because I would go to New York for 3 weeks, work on Red Dead Redemption 2, and then on the 2 weeks back, where we would work 3 weeks, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, I would fly back to Indiana where I worked construction. That was what I did the entire time. And we started doing all that stuff, the mocap for building the house, and I thought, I know exactly what all this looks like. And how
Perfectly suited.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, we did a bunch of it, and I don't know. I haven't played that part of the game, so I don't know exactly how much of it you all have to do or got to do, whether you enjoyed it or not, I don't know. But there was way more, so either be happy that you didn't have to do more of it, or I'm sorry, they cut it out.
It was a long mission, yeah. It was a long time to build that house. But that was probably one of the most exciting things to do as John. I mean, it was a new beginning in an iconic way. But guys, as you had the chance to see the whole script of both games, do you know if there are any parts of the game that were taken out from the final product? I mean, were there any things that you've done, but they were not taken into the main game? I mean, we as gamers would probably want to know that, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, with any artistic project, there is going to be some editing that goes on. And one bit that I was very sad to see go was there was a love story between Dutch and Micah, where they had this compelling, they just could not keep their hands off of each other. But it was at a time where that was frowned upon and discouraged. So it was really quite sad and heart-wrenching. They decided to just cut their love short, and to keep it behind the tent flaps, That stuff got cut. I'm sad to say. I don't know why though. Maybe they'll bring it back one day,
Maybe it will be in the DLC, for the game.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah. Micah's Requiem, yeah.
Yeah. Rob, how about you?
No, I mean, I think that there were things that early on they were trying to figure out what their technology was capable of. So there were things that we did that just to find the threshold of the technology. Some of the stuff, once they found it, they knew where it was. Some of the stuff didn't make it, but it wasn't any major scene that I was in or anything like that.
Obviously, we touched upon before about GTA 6 coming next year. If you would have met actually the voice actor, the main protagonist for the GTA 6, what advice would you give those people, after the release of the game? Because I imagine after the game is released, your life gets a bit chaotic, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but in a very, as far as I have experienced, in the most positive way. So I think the first thing I would say is, look, you're going to get a lot of attention. Be cool to the people who are giving you attention, because you're very lucky to be in this position. It could have been anybody. So as much as you want to have a big head about yourself and be real proud of yourself, it could have been anybody. Be cool. If there aren't fans of this work that you did, then you got nothing. So
yeah, where would you be without the fans?
Yeah,
treat everybody
exactly.
with respect and appreciation.
I would tell them, stay off social media, or at least take it all with a huge pinch of salt.
Guys, any other games that you've played instead of Red Dead? Maybe, what kind of games do you like? Do you consider yourself gamers?
I'm a bit of I don't play as much as I used to, but when I do it now, I call it research.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my wife, anyways.
That's work. Work.
Yeah, this is work, you know. And I also say the same thing to the IRS too, you know, for my PS5 receipt. That was research. That's too. At the moment, I'm playing Oblivion, the remake. And
Wow,
I'm really enjoying it.
amazing.
Yeah. I've only got, I haven't done much, you know, maybe 10 hours at the moment. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. It's like a Skyrim DLC.
Yeah, exactly. What is the best game that you ever played? Not Red Dead Redemption, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it is probably the best game ever for most of us, but a part of Red Dead.
It could also be an old game.
Yeah. Anything.
I really, I remember Final Fantasy VII when I was in college. I remember Resident Evil 2.
Nice.
Damn.
Nice.
I really enjoy God of War. And you know, what I did really, during COVID, you know, we all were stuck in the house, so I did get through some pretty cool games. And my two favorite COVID games, for lack of a better word, I loved Ghost of Tsushima. That was amazing. And I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us, too. Yeah.
Amazing.
Damn. Rob, what about you?
Well, I'm just getting into it. I just have not been a gamer. Since I was younger, I had a Nintendo NES, and I've really enjoyed that. But then I just got to an age where I got involved in other things and never really made it back until recently. I'm not kidding you. In the hour and a half that I've played of Red Dead Redemption, I fully understand. And because I'm so separated from it, I think, too. I mean, I know I played that character, right? But it's been so long that I'm playing the game and I'm not, it's not that I forget what happened, I remember it, but I'm really enjoying moving this guy around in this world and, you know, seeing what happens when he tries to interact with different NPCs or things on the wall or whatever the case may be. And I get it why people enjoy games so much. So I got a feeling I'm gonna, as long as I have time, if my wife is cool with it, I'm probably gonna play a whole lot of games. I'm really excited to learn a lot more about it.
Doing research, doing work, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. Do we have any question for the guys? Huh?
Yeah, guys,
the
please
microphone
move
right
on.
there
Yeah.
is in the middle, so here you go.
We'll move on to the Q&A. Hey.
Out of the two of you, who do you think would be best suited for life in the Old West?
What?
Definitely Rob. Yeah. Rob would be better off, you know.
I'm so sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Who would be best suited for life in the early 1900s? You or...
I don't know if you want to count on me for that or not.
I can ride Can you ride horses?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd be that. I like my comforts, you know. So I'm quite happy in 2025. You know, and of the time where I did play a cowboy, it didn't turn out that well. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Good day. Well, obviously, Arthur Morgan and John Marston, they're some of the best video game performances ever made. I was wondering, as actors, did you draw any inspiration while performing them, whether it be like classic Hollywood actors like John Wayne or some other pieces of media?
I think I know that we've been asked this before. No, I didn't. And the reason why I didn't know I knew it was a Western, this game, but like I said before, I didn't know who John was at all until almost the end. I'm not even kidding you, of the work I did on Red Dead Redemption. So it was tough for me to, I mean, of course I love the movie Tombstone. But I loved that for years before I ever knew I was going to be in a video game. If I learned any kind of anything about Old West, it was through Roger. He sat down with a computer one night and he was like, you got to look at this one. You got to look at this one. And he would show me different clips from these old Western movies. He knows way more about it than I do.
I like Clint Eastwood, but John Wayne had probably more of an influence on Arthur because he's got that dry wit. But one of my major influences wasn't from a Western at all. It was from, you know Akira Kurosawa, this wonderful Japanese director, like mid-20th century. So he worked a lot with an actor called Toshiro Mifune, who was the samurai half of the time, like in Seven Samurai and Yojimbo and Sanjuro. And he was a bit of a big influence for Arthur Morgan, Toshiro Mifune, because he could be really funny one second and he could be deathly intimidating the next. And I just thought he was an amazing performer. So I studied him a lot.
All right, thank you very much.
What was it like playing and interacting with the young punk John Marston, knowing in advance the kind of person he becomes? And did it affect the way you approached the role in any way?
Did you just say young punk?
That's what you said yesterday. You called him a young punk.
You're exactly right. I love that. Sorry.
It was really weird for me because it's John Marston, you know, and so for so much of Red Dead 2, you know, I'm teasing him, I'm making fun of him, you know, and Arthur's kind of a higher status within the gang. And so that was like, I can't say this to John Marston. But it's not the John Marston that we know from Red Dead Redemption. And I think Rob did an amazing job showing that, you know, because we are, you know, through different stages of life, we all grow as human beings, you know, and I just think Rob did such a fantastic job showing us a different side of John Marston at a different stage of his life.
Thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
Nice hat, cowpoke.
Good day, John, Arthur. I have a faith you can answer my rhetorical question. So, if the crew would ever succeed going to Tahiti, would they reach a peaceful paradise, or would it end in disaster? Because, not just because. We need more money. Thank you.
They'd be good. They'd be good for a while, but then, yeah, that wouldn't last. Of course, that wouldn't last. They're all a bunch of outlaws. That's all they know.
Yeah.
They'd start attacking each other, I would say. It wouldn't take long either.
Yeah, especially like so many of us playing the game. I don't know about you, but I've seen some playthroughs where there's like $15,000, $20,000 in the kitten, and that's enough. Back in 1899, that was enough to go to Siberia if you wanted to, you know. And you know, Red Dead takes a lot of inspiration from many Western movies, and one of them, I think, is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And in that movie, we see them successfully escape from America. They get south of the border, and they end up becoming farmers in Bolivia, but not for long. You know, you can't. What does it Dutch says? You can't fight nature. You can't fight nature. And I don't think. I think it might have had a bit of a honeymoon period, but it eventually, you know, you can't change who you are. I don't know. I don't think so.
You always have a plan.
Oh yeah, we always have a plan, and those mangoes taste awful good in Tahiti. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What would Arthur and John think of Lithuanian food?
I was at a place last night, and everybody here, listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but I have never seen what I ate last night. It was a potato with meat on the inside. Right? Honestly, it was good. The texture was kind of weird for me because I was expecting to like feel the potato at some point. It was just slime. That's all I've ever felt. It tasted good. If I could put the John, yeah, who knows? He had to eat Abigail's cooking, so he probably would have loved every bite of it.
I think Arthur would have loved it. It's great over here. Some of the stuff has been absolutely amazing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. So you guys mentioned that there was a lot of scenes where you spent the majority of time doing mocap and all the spandex suit scenes. So the question would be, is there any scenes which kind of you struggled with? was it just very funny to do that, or you just kind of broke character in some way and you had to constantly redo the scenes? Is there a specific, I don't know, member of the cast that kind of exceeded in this kind of thing?
I can tell you something that was pretty funny. So the night folk, those people that are like half wolf, half person.
Yeah, and they're silent. That threw me. You don't even hear them coming.
Yeah, I was one of those. I did that. I did that with another guy, Robert Manama, however you say his name, but he was a guy that would come in and work and played several different characters. Probably most of them didn't have dialogue, but really cool guy. And he and I were running back and forth on this stage, and we're doing this crazy movement, and the animator's going, okay, do it again. Can you be just a little more wolfish? And we're standing there looking at each other like, what are you talking about, man? This is ridiculous. But that was really fun. If you get attacked by one of those guys, that was me.
There was one bit where there's a guy in a hotel room, and if you go you're supposed to go and rescue Karen, like one of the first missions in Valentine, I think, because she's getting smacked around by some dudes. And if you go into the wrong hotel room, you interrupt a guy taking a crap on the toilet. And of course, he didn't have his trousers down or anything. He was wearing the spandex, but he's still sitting on what resembles a toilet, and he was making all the appropriate sounds, and it sounded like he had a bad case of constipation, and that just that was a struggle for me to get through. I couldn't stop laughing at that one.
Well, thank you very much for all of you, and I think we need to say a huge thank you for all these thousands of people who worked behind the scenes as well.
Yes.
Hello guys, thank you for the amazing game. And I have one simple question. What was your favorite mission in the game? And Roger, can you say goddamn O'Driscolls?
Man, a favorite mission, that's a tough one, because there are so many. I love the assault on Braithwaite Manor. That one's epic. And I think I can't decide between that one and then the final mission of the whole game, American Venom, when we finally get Micah. Those two, I think, are my favorite ones. Apart from them goddamn O'Driscolls!
And what about you, John?
So, what was really cool for me is that in Red Dead Redemption, as a playable character, you would do these scenes, and then it would always come up to that moment of where, like you would getting these, you're about ready to get in a fist fight, or you're about ready to get in a gun battle, or whatever, and then right when the action was about to start, playing that role, you had to just stand in a physical pose, or I'm sorry, a neutral pose, they called it. So I'd be in this scene, and we're doing, getting rowdy, and then as soon as the action was about to start, I had to stand like this. Right? So I got to be real rowdy to be the character, and then as soon as it's going to be interesting for the player to take over and play that part, I couldn't do any of that stuff, because then that would take that away from you, right? But then I got the opportunity in Red Dead Redemption 2 to not be the playable character, and so Braithwaite, that was awesome. Also going into Bronte's house looking for Jack, and John's running around smashing all kinds of things, being crazy. I got to do that, and that was awesome.
You remember the bit where Bronte, his gun jams or something, and he just throws it at you and hits you right in the face?
Yeah.
That's a real story?
Well, we did it for real. I mean, the actor playing Bronte, and he just threw it at his face. I remember that bit. That was a lot of fun, too.
Yeah. I may be mixing that up, too. John may not have gone into Bronte's place and thrown stuff away. That might have been a different... I don't know. I don't know the game that well.
No, when you go into Bronte's, the last time you go into Bronte's mansion and kidnap him, and we put him in the skiff, and then Dutch feeds him to the alligator, I think it's Arthur and John that finally get him, but he's like he's hiding in his bedroom and he's shooting. Does anyone, am I talking rubbish? Is that right? I don't remember that well, but do you remember when he threw the gun at your face? I think it was it was a sponge or something, probably, right? Yes, but, you know, it has to be something so that you know to react to it, you know, and obviously a sponge isn't going to hurt you. But Rob acted, you know, the way he acted like it was a proper gun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We still got time for 2 more questions, so 2 last questions, guys.
So I have a question for Roger. You mentioned you played Red Dead Redemption 2 times. How it felt playing Mission Money Lending and Other Sins 3, where Arthur gets sick with tuberculosis, especially on the second playthrough. Did you try to avoid that mission or just go with it?
Is that the one where he goes to Downs' house?
It's the one where he goes to the farm and
he gets cut. He coughs in his face.
Yes.
Yeah, I was very keen. I wanted to see that because obviously I knew it was coming, and I was one of the scenes that I knew was pretty pivotal. So yeah, I didn't put it off at all. I wanted to see how it turned out, you know. So no, I didn't avoid it at all. I went straight in, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And question for Rob. We talked a lot about Red Dead Redemption 2, but what was your favorite character in the first game, besides John?
Seth, the gravedigger.
Oh, yeah.
Daggone, that guy is hysterical. I really love the character, but the guy who played that role, too, is a really great guy. He's awesome and really funny in real life, too. So I really enjoyed him.
Okay. And Roger, can you say, I'll catch you later then?
I'll catch you later then.
Okay.
So this isn't strictly a Red Dead Redemption related question, but overall about gaming. With the current rise of AI and the use of it in art projects, how would you feel if a studio you were working for was to use AI not only in terms of image generation but also writing and perhaps even voice acting? Do you feel like AI could really replace people in this field?
No. I don't. No. And that's not me saying that because I want to potentially have an opportunity to play a role instead of AI playing it. I think no. The answer is no. Nobody thinks that that's real. It's cheaper, less expensive for people to produce it. But no, it could never replace a human being. Or you know what, I shouldn't say never, but right now, no, not even close.
Yeah, it's a big discussion going on all over the industry now about it. And one thing's for sure, I don't think anyone really knows where this is all going to end up, you know. AI definitely does have some useful applications. I mean, it can't be denied. And it is going to end up in places that none of us, I think, can anticipate. But yeah, Rob is right. You know, AI, all it can do is regurgitate what's already been done, you know, at least presently. And I don't think that we're in a place quite yet where it can compete with genuine human, you know, creativity. It's a very concerning time right now, and you know, there's lots of legislation that's being turned around at the moment to try and protect artists from having their work be stolen, you know, because AI is doing that. I've seen several versions of John and Arthur on social media saying things that I think are pretty horrible, and you know, I don't like that. You know, I think any time that AI is used to steal or to take another person's image and represent it falsely, I think that's theft, you know. But yeah, it's a big thing at the moment, and I don't think anyone can accurately say where this is all going to land. But I'm just going to keep working as much as I can until something stops me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just genuinely think that it's good that more and more celebrities start to talk about it and stand against the AR art, because currently we really don't have any law regulations. And well, if people are known for not listening to law, but listening to their idols, then I think it's really important to share the message that replacing humans with AI, just because it's cheaper, is really not a good path.
Here, here. Why? I want AI to mow my lawn. I don't want it to write my books.
Thank you guys for the questions.
Yes. And can you one more time give it up for Rob Wiethoff, Roger Clark? Thank you so much for coming, and thank
Red
you
Dead
guys.
Redemption 2 and 1 as well.